Hello, hello. Ooh, I feel like I have to sneeze as soon as I hit live. Ooh. For today, so the Holistic Business Network is featuring the amazing women of our membership all month long. And so you're going to get to hear from some really dynamic people. This month, we already spoke to financial wellness coach Myrna Lane Hippolyte. She's actually having an event this Thursday. It's an online happy hour investing event where you can learn all the things about how you can grow your money. Hey, Lauren, I added you. Hopefully you see let me make sure. Invite. Um, Hi, Kawa Care Pediatrics. Oh, I love pediatrics. Hi, Dr. Gabby. Lauren, are you there?
I am. Can you see me?
Oh, no, I cannot. Can you see me?
I can. Hang on. Let's see. Request to join. Share video.
Let me, go live with Lauren. Oh, maybe I can hear you, but I can't see you. That's weird.
Um, let's see.
Ah, accept. Oh, maybe I have to just accept you. I'm accepting. But did you say you could see me?
I can see you and I can see me. Yes.
Okay. It might just be me. This has happened to me before when I have too much on my phone. It won't show me the other person. But we are going to go with it regardless, because I know everyone else can probably see what you're seeing and not what I'm seeing. So that's okay. So, like I was saying, I'm so excited to feature amazing members of our network. We have such a diverse group of holistic health and wellness businesses, whether they're practitioners or services or coaches. We have a spectrum of amazing people doing amazing things in the health and wellness arena. And Coach Lauren O'Hanlon is one of them. We met last year and she blew my mind, right? Totally blew my mind with what she does. And I'm not even going to share what she does. Lauren, I want you to tell us what you do. And yeah, tell us what you do. We're going to some other things.
Yeah. So, I mean, in a nutshell, I help others change their relationship with alcohol, change the way that they feel about alcohol, and just kind of on a mission to normalize sobriety.
Okay. So until like I met Lauren, I've never heard of like people that did this other than like, the traditional routes that we hear. I think we don't even hear, we see them a lot on TV, right? Like AA or like a recovery center. But Lauren, I love that what you do is you reach out to people before it can become like a huge ordeal, just like giving them that awareness, right?
Mhm.
So tell us what is your mission? Tell us why you are doing this because I feel like your story is very powerful. So can you tell us a little bit about what got you on this path?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I had a relationship with alcohol like quite a few other people. It was around for celebrations. It was around, it's just always around dinners, things like that. Um, it started getting very loud in my life though, and at first I was a bartender, and so I was constantly around it, and either whatever, it was always around. Then I became a mom and I got out of that bar industry, and I was a stay-at-home mom and discovered the mommy wine culture. So it was like I got to, cruise from one aspect of always being around alcohol to another one. And I tell you what, there are a lot of moms that drink on play dates. And I was like, wow, this is crazy, but I'm here for it. And COVID hit. I had two little ones. There were issues with my marriage, and it started kind of just changing from this like, oh, fun, we're out to dinner, or we're having a girls' night, or a brunch or something, and we're gonna have drinks, to really kind of like turning into this coping and stress relief. And, it just, like I said, it just got really loud, but I didn't know any different. I wasn't waking up and drinking. I wasn't blacking out with my kids. I wasn't doing any of that stuff, but I really started becoming aware. I actually found a podcast, and it started spelling out kind of the science behind it for me. Things that like I had never like I had no idea that it, you know, I had always been antidepressant, and I didn't know that it caused, it caused and or worsens anxiety, depression, stress, things like that. I didn't realize that it was actually, a toxic poison that we're ingesting. Like all of these things, I didn't realize that it caused 7 different types of cancer. And, not to be that Debbie Downer, but these are all facts. And once my eyes just like really blew open to that, I started questioning everything. And that's where my passion really, I mean, it turned from like an alcohol is in my, everyday life just for fun and for, it's my stress reliever and things like that to, oh my gosh, the wool has been pulled over my eyes. No one stuck as a society. It is literally the answer to everything. So
I think so many people can relate to that too, especially moms, right? Moms, like that's an outlet. You'll hear a lot of moms saying, okay, it's time to make dinner. I'm going to pull out the bottle of wine and I'm going to drink while I'm preparing dinner. Or like you said, on mommy play dates. Who would think, right? But it can be an outlet for so many people. And you start to do things subconsciously, not even realizing, oh, this could be a problem until maybe something opens your eyes. Like what you said, you saw a podcast and you were like, what?
yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So tell me, Lauren, we've had so many behind the scenes conversations, and it really pulled my awareness even higher because we were just talking the other day. My daughter plays travel sports, and I was, when we first started playing and she was like 8 years old, I was so shocked to see that there were parents that had like a trunk that had like the stash of alcohol that they would leave the game and be out there, doing their thing. And I'm just like, what? Like, we're not even waiting until after the game is over? What's going on here? But you mentioned you also played sports and you've seen this happen. And the person we were also talking with, another Lauren, had mentioned, she had seen these things happen growing up as an athlete. And so I feel like so much of this has become normalized that it wasn't until I met you that you kind of like heightened my awareness. Now I do drink alcohol, but it's more like socially, like it's probably occasionally, it's not something that's always on, but it's more of a social aspect. And one thing I love about you is the tips that you give to people to help them, even in that social atmosphere. Maybe you're at a happy hour, how you can avoid or, having alcohol, but the tactics that you give people to be comfortable in that space without feeling pressured.
Right. Right. And that's what it is a lot is, you had mentioned before, it's about like we do these things subconsciously, so along the way, I mean, ever since we're kids, if your parents drank, then, we see that as a stress reliever at the end of the day. If, going to sporting events and having the grown-ups drinking, you kind of associate that. And that's what keeps us stuck. We don't know what we don't know. And when we have all of these thoughts or beliefs, like alcohol helps me be social,
Yeah.
well, then I like what my job is to kind of unpack those. We bring that subconscious thought to our conscious and be like, oh, okay, does it help me be social? And then, oh, well, okay, so we know that it lowers inhibitions and things like that. And we start to kind of just dissect what these beliefs are that keep us stuck.
So Lauren, okay, So I want to ask you, because this might be on the tip of everyone's like tongue to ask. You kind of grew up where alcohol was normalized, most of your life. How did you how did you feel when you were like, okay, I'm going to cut back on how much alcohol I'm consuming? How did you approach that and the people around you that were in that still in that environment, but you're having to break away from that? Because that is, I feel like maybe the hardest part is the social pressure from other people.
Yeah, I was scared to death. I was scared to death for a lot of reasons. Like for me, how am I ever going to, go to a wedding and not do a champagne toast? How am I going to do this? How am I going to be around my friends? And what I want to say to that is like there is, it will be different, but it's not going to be different in a bad way. There was a little between my friends and I, there was a little adjustment period, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in terms of like we were always just so used to, like, if we were together we were having cocktails, and
Mm-hmm.
now when we're together I don't. And it was an adjustment. And I guess what I want to say to people is that over time it gets so much easier, because once you start living your life without alcohol, or just cutting back somewhere, somewhere that it's not serving you, trying to level up your life and your job and things like that. Once you start to make it small and irrelevant in your life, these things get so much easier. And so it just took me time. I mean, I was training to be a coach, and I was still nervous about telling my friends, and what would they think, and would I be able to do it? And it was just trying things on little by little that really got me there. It was doing the first wedding, without having a single drink, and making it through that. And all the while I'm reframing, I'm building those new neural pathways in my brain, literally. It's like I'm telling my brain, okay, we can get through this without a drink. And the funniest thing to me is, like, when you stop to think about it, it's like, why do people care what's in my glass? What is a big
Exactly.
deal? I don't like mayonnaise. If I don't get mayonnaise on a burger, are people going to be like, oh my God, why do they care that I don't drink a toxic poison? And once I started just kind of knowing that, for me, it started to become a lot easier. And to, I was a people pleaser, I was a yes girl, I was all of those. And now I will shout it from the mountaintops, like, I am happy that I don't drink alcohol, which is still crazy for me to think about. 3 years ago I would have never, ever, ever, you couldn't have told me, you couldn't have paid me enough money for me to think that I would be out here talking against alcohol. And so, yeah, for to go back to the question, for those that are worried about that, yeah, I mean, that's legit. It is society.
Mhm.
Okay. Society really teaches us that, like, hey, you need alcohol. And if you don't drink alcohol, then you clearly had a rock bottom somewhere. And that just doesn't have to be the case.
So I- I'm curious, when you went to that first wedding, what were some of the tactics you used to get through that wedding without like the glass of alcohol? What did you do instead?
So what I did instead, like that wedding, we all met at the hotel bar, where I was the only one, so this was on the night before the wedding. We all met at the hotel
Mhm.
bar, and this night number one for me. And I went into, it's a tactic that we call duck mode, which is like, no matter what, like, it's gonna bounce right off of my back. A drink, nope. I've already made this firm commitment. If the thought comes in, I'm going to let it roll right off my back, and I am making that firm decision to not have a drink. What I did is I utilized the hotel gym, probably a couple extra times than I would have, and I went back to the room early, And honestly, like I enjoyed it. I woke up without a hangover. This was a destination wedding too. So
Oh,
flight was the day after the wedding. And I was the only person in our group flying back home that was not just on my deathbed hungover. And, and I felt this like sense of pride, this sense of accomplishment because, most of them didn't remember like the night of the wedding. And so like not only did I remember everything, not only was I on the dance floor, not only did I get to partake in that champagne toast with water in my glass, I got to fly back without feeling like I wanted to die. And it was great. And the champagne toast thing, that was a little bit weird at first, but that's because that's all I'd known is like, even from a little kid, yeah, you hold up a champagne flute and you toast. But
hmm
again, it goes back to why does it matter what's in my glass? And people do, and they will judge what's in your glass, and that's okay. Let them.
so good. So, Lauren, what are some misconceptions I think that you see that people have about what it is that you do? One of the things I love that you say is, "Oh, I help you to like not just eliminate, but reduce." So it's not like, oh, altogether getting rid of alcohol, but helping people just find other ways to fill in that gap.
Mhm.
So what do you think are some of the misconceptions people may have when it comes to, okay, we're going to reduce alcohol?
that that there was a rock bottom involved,
Mm,
that they are not able to handle their alcohol, that
mhm,
you know that they should feel shame. I don't, with any client that I ever have, there is never we never talk about forever. Their end goal may be that they don't want to drink, and that will be a forever choice. But what I always say, even for my personal experience, is I can have a drink if I want one. Like it's not going to set me into this crazy tailwind spiral because I didn't have one in the first place. But I don't want one.
mm,
I literally do not want to ingest what I know alcohol is. And that's some work that I've done on myself. I do coach a lot of people that want to moderate. I will tell you that most all of them, after they learn and they do the work and they do the reframe, alcohol it is small and irrelevant in their life now. And it's all about, it's literally, Michelle, it's all about framing the way that we feel about it. The difference from what I do versus, your traditional like AA or rehab methods, which, let me say, if that is how the route that somebody is going, more power to you. Whatever helps somebody change in the way that they want to. The
mhm,
difference in what I do, though, is we are emotion based, whereas those methods are going to be behavior based. They're taking away the substance, but they're not changing the way that you feel about it. You start white knuckling through weddings and vacation and things like that. Whereas with what I do with emotion based, I feel I do not want to ingest alcohol. I just don't. And I feel amazing about my decision. And so when we change those, it's not just about, oh, now I can't have wine. It's like, I don't have to have wine. Like,
mm. That is so good. That is so good. Emotion based, because most of us women are more emotion based, right? So when we can come from that perspective, and I think the education that you give is so good because that ties into the emotion that you're is going to be evoked with the knowledge that you now have on the vice that it can be, right? Um, Oh, I just had another. I was thinking of something else I wanted to ask you, and it just slipped my mind. It was so good. Um, mm, I cannot believe I forgot that because it was literally on the tip of my tongue. Um, So share with us, who are some of your typical clients that you have, like a demographic? Who is it that you see yourself working with a lot? Are you primarily working with females, or are there males also? Tell us.
When I started out, when I officially launched my coaching business, I thought that my demographic, I thought I was going to only coach women, moms, and people like me, like the other Laurens.
Mhm.
And I have no clients. I have seen the transformation that men and women, because alcohol doesn't discriminate against sex, race, anything like that. It's an addictive poison to human beings, not just, not just a men or women or anything like that. And so on average, my typical client is a woman, probably in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, who didn't didn't know what they didn't know, who kind of cruised along with society. And honestly, if I hadn't have found the podcast, and if I hadn't have had these issues that with my husband, that where my drinking switched from like fun drinking to coping drinking, I
Mm.
would have just kept on going, and not knowing any different, but knowing that, but also in the back of my mind, knowing that alcohol was kind of loud, like I brought a glass of wine extra full with ice cubes to story time with my kids, because I'd be gone for 15, 20 minutes. And that was like at my mommy wind down time, right? Like
Mm.
so, to answer your question, it's a variety. It's a variety, but for the most part, I do work a lot with women who are just trying, either moms who just are recognizing this is really loud. Um, and the men that I've worked with, two of them, it was job related. Like they were like, it's too loud in my life in terms of my career. So it all depends, but it does not discriminate. That's for sure.
I
And
love, oh, so sorry. Keep going.
no,
I can't see you, so I might overtalk, but
no,
it's
I know, I wish you could see me, but I wanted to point out that the Simple and Sweet Nutrition who's here, they say alcohol impacts gut health and hormones and liver. Like, it's true. It affects, when it goes past our tongue, like, it's up your brain. I mean, it, and that was one of the things that I mean, hook, line, and sinker got me, was when we take a drink, that initial buzz, that artificial dopamine, it lasts for 20 minutes. It lasts for 20 minutes. Adrenaline and cortisol and these dynorphins, these stress hormones, get released into our body. But what do is we usually we have another drink, so we don't notice these uncomfortable feelings, but I attribute it to, like, I didn't drink during the day a ton, but if I went to lunch, then yeah, I would get a margarita. I probably wouldn't get two, or maybe I'd get two and then I'd be done, and but after those, like, my energy level would go down. I would feel like crap. I would need a nap. I just didn't, my heart would raise. I just didn't feel right. So when we're drinking at night and we continue to have those glasses of wine and then we just pass out, we go to sleep, like, that's why we wake up stressed. That's why we had a good night's sleep, but we're not getting that REM sleep. We're not getting that deep sleep that our body is craving. It helps us to pass out. It helps us to take us out of that moment. But the true sleep, the true just the way our body functions, waking up the next day feeling even more stressed and more depressed, that just blew my mind.
That is so good. It's so funny. Me and you were on the same wavelength because I literally was about to read what Simple and Sweet
Oh,
Nutrition wrote about alcohol impacting the gut, and then you said it. So perfect. So guys, oh, I love Coach Lauren so much. I'm telling you, all our members, they just all bring this uniqueness to health and wellness. And I love that Coach Lauren is helping people before they're hitting rock bottom, right? Before they're getting to that point, helping them control or reduce the amount of alcohol they're drinking. Because we do know alcohol is a toxin, but we still partake in it. Well, I don't know if everyone knows it's a toxin because I didn't realize how toxic it is. But when you start to think about the effects it has on our body, you're like, oh gosh, it makes sense. So it's really what you're doing is a natural way to help people improve their health from reducing something that's not so good for them. And I love that. I love, love, love that. So I know we have several people on here. I want to quickly summarize who Coach Lauren is. Coach Lauren was someone who grew up where alcohol was normalized her whole life. It was just a part of her everyday life. And it wasn't until like around the pandemic that she started to really take a look at what she was doing. Now she had 2 little ones and how much she was drinking. And so she found a podcast that really changed her life. And now she's helping other people transform their lives from reducing alcohol too. And she's so passionate about it. We love like your name comes up all the time, Coach Lauren, because me and my business partner, Quidera, Feel Well Magazine, we're at different networking events and just connecting with people all the time, social events. And we love to mention you because it just somehow it always comes up. It's a topic. So I think you are definitely doing great work in this space. We need more of you. And please tell us how people can get in contact with you outside of Instagram, because if they're on here, they can see you're connected. But outside of Instagram, how can people reach you?
Well, first of all, thank you for that, Michelle. I really appreciate that. And yeah, you can reach me at coachlaurenohanlon.com. I offer a free chat. Our first chat is free just to kind of see what I'm all about and what you're looking for. And to see how I might be able to help.
Yes. And she is a wealth of information. Trust me, I've just learned so many tips and tricks that I hear her mention that she likes to help people, get comfortable in this new ideology of reducing what they're consuming. And Lauren, I just love having you in the membership because you are a ball of fire and you're on fire for helping people change the narrative with alcohol. And I love it. I absolutely love that. So, for everyone who joined, we have quite a few people on here that are watching. Ulta Pilates, Dr. Morena. Hi, Dr. Morena. Kate from Sweet and Simple Nutrition. She's also a member. We have Alicia of Colon. Oh my goodness. Why did I forget Alicia? Miami Colon. Oh, where is she? Colonic Center, Miami. How could I forget your business name, Alicia? But thank you so much for joining. Lauren, it is always a pleasure speaking with you. Thank you so much for that. I really hope someone is touched by this information, and hopefully you reach out to Coach Lauren, and Lauren is spelled with E-N at the end, not Y-N, E-N. And thank you so much. This was such a great conversation. I wish I could talk longer, but I know you have things to do. But it's been a pleasure. I can't see you. I wish I could see you, but I could just imagine your face right now.
Oh, well, thank you, Michelle, for this. This was fantastic. I really appreciate it and you and everything that you do as well.
Thank you, and happy International Women's Month.
Yes.
That's why we're on. We're featuring all these amazing women all month long. And for those of you, quick announcement, in April, we are kicking off events around the country. So we do have an event coming up on April 3rd, a Holistic Health and Wellness Networking Experience in Orlando. Then we have one happening in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina on April 13th. And then April 24th, we have a Holistic Health and Wellness Networking Experience happening here in South Florida at the Tower Club in downtown Fort Lauderdale. And that is going to be fire. So hopefully we can see you at any of these events happening around the country. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Bye. Thank you once again, Lauren. You rock.
Thanks, Michelle. Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.